Check. I just wanna thank me for doing it when nobody made me, for doing it while nobody pays me. They can call it crazy, but they don't see it daily. And I've been finding ways, don't give a damn if you hating. And secretly waiting to see what I do next. It feels like a huge flex. I reach in my tool chest, never feel too pressed or depressed. Please miss me with any and all negative energy. Ooh.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-topic. Today I'm with Carlos Mojica, my lovely guest and co-host and partner. And I'm also with Kyle. How do you pronounce your last name?
Borgschatz.
Yeah. Hey, dude, it's hard. It's hard.
What do you guys think?
How do you say it?
Borgschatz.
I've never seen it spelled. So
Borg, and like you're taking shots.
Easy enough.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, easy enough. We're with Kyle today. He actually is visiting from California, so very grateful to have him on the podcast this evening. But we're going to talk about his upbringing, what he does, what got him into some of his interests, and we're going to let him have the floor. So.
Thank you for coming out, taking time out your day. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Of course. I know it's not close from Cali. How's the weather out there right now?
It's honestly like it is here.
Yeah.
Last week it was, 105, humid. It was bad.
What part of Cali?
Orange County.
Yeah.
Right between LA and San Diego.
Cooling down here.
I hope it does here or back in California.
Yeah. So I told him at like nighttime, it's like been down to like the 60s, high 60s.
Nice. That's really nice.
But anyways, tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, where you grew up, all that good stuff.
So I'm from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. It's inland from Newport Beach, which is probably the most known area
Newport's
in
nice.
Orange County. About 30 minutes from there inland. I was born and raised in Rancho Santa Margarita. I currently go to Cal State Fullerton, finishing my last semester. So,
Okay, what are you going to school for?
Marketing. Yeah.
Nice. Anything specific?
Just marketing.
Just marketing in general?
Yeah.
Growing up, did you play any sports or have any hobbies or anything?
Yeah, so up until 7th grade, I played baseball and then want to switch it up. So I started playing lacrosse and played lacrosse from 7th grade through high school.
Is lacrosse big in California?
Yeah, I would say probably back when I was in 7th grade was when it really picked up. Because obviously, it's a huge East Coast sport. Mm-hmm. But I would say from middle school on, it really picked up. And, it's a huge sport now in California.
Well, not expect that.
Yeah.
Just football, baseball would be like the two things I think of.
Yeah, lacrosse.
Why'd you stop playing baseball?
Just wanted to switch it up. I honestly got kind of tired of it, Little League and whatever. But lacrosse was picking up speed, and some of our closest family friends, their sons had always grown up playing lacrosse, and their son grew up playing lacrosse, went to ASU, played lacrosse. So that was kind of a big influence and just kept going.
You wanted to play?
Yeah.
Did you have any scholarships or anything, or any offers? No.
The school that I went to, sports weren't the biggest thing. We had a few baseball players. We have a baseball player actually who is on the Angels right now. He's a pitcher. But football, not really anything that crazy. We had one player, Jake Breland. He was 2 years older than me actually, and he graduated, went to Oregon. He was actually roommates with Justin Herbert.
Oh, okay.
So they were really close, and he was actually the number one tight end in college at Oregon, and he got injured and recovered from his injury, went to the draft, signed with the Titans, and injury plagued him, and he just was practice squad.
Dang.
What did he get injured with the first time?
I think it was ACL.
Oh, something small turned into something big.
Yeah.
But so now you're at Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah.
You've been there for almost 4 years.
So I was at community college and transferred to Cal State Fullerton 3 semesters ago. So I got stuck at community college for a little while. Just counselors had me taking classes I didn't need, which sucked. So I was there for 3.5 years. Yeah. Yeah, my entire first year that I was there, I was taking classes that I didn't need. So got through all my stuff, all my transfer degrees, and finished up there, transferred to Fullerton. Now I'm finishing up my last semester.
So. Just to go back a little bit, how was like the life growing up in Southern California, like SoCal? Like what were some of the things besides sports and stuff? Like, I guess what were some of the things that you did or kind of did growing up?
Yeah. So I grew up fishing with my dad and my grandpa, and that was a huge portion of my life. Fishing all the time, whether it was down at the pier or the lake by my house. Eventually got into cars, probably when I was about 14. But other than that, I mean, those are my pretty big passions growing up.
I have another guy from SoCal I work with, and he's a big fisherman. Is that like a common thing over there?
Yeah, I would say so. Fishery in Southern California, I mean, it's pretty incredible. It's super diverse. You know, you have the ocean right there. Right now, especially during the summer, we get the tuna, we get mahi, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the lakes. It's like trout during the fall and bass any other time. So.
Do you go deep sea a lot?
I went probably June. I went out on a 1 3/4 day. So spend the night on the boat.
Sheesh.
Got 28 people on the boat. That's a huge lifestyle in Southern California for sport fishing.
Yeah.
It's all charter boats for the most part.
Yeah.
It's, for people that don't have a boat, it's the only way you can get out there.
Yeah.
Trips range, you can do a half day for $60, and then you can there's even boats that do 17-day trips.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Where you leave San Diego, you stop in Cabo to fuel up and everything, and you go all the way down to Puerto Vallarta and come back up to San Diego. 17 days. I mean, it's like $9,000.
God.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Have you done one of those? No.
I could never.
Well, what's the longest you can be on a boat? Because I love fishing, and I would love to go deep sea, but I have super bad motion sickness. So I went in 2016 in South Carolina, and we went out and then got our bait and all that. And as soon as we got to like the spot we're at and they set the anchor, I was done for.
You're done for.
I was done for. I couldn't. I couldn't last any longer so they threw the line out. I got on the fish. It was a stingray, and I was reeling it in, and then I just felt it come, and I was like,
it's the worst feeling.
Yes, and it's like, and it just doesn't stop.
No,
it doesn't stop,
and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. And then I was like reeling it in. I told my dad, I was like, you got it, and he was like, no, keep going. I was like, nah, here, you got it. And eventually he caught on. He was like, okay. And so I gave the fishing pole to him. I just went to the other side of the boat, just started throwing up.
I've only been seasick once.
It's not fun.
And I was in Alaska. We were halibut fishing. And so we were up there for 7 days, and we went halibut fishing one day, and the weather was beautiful. Like, super uncharacteristic for Alaska. Like, bluebird skies, flat calm.
Yeah.
And even the captain was like, guys, you guys are really lucky. And we were, and we actually caught 141-pound halibut.
Nice.
And it was so good that we decided, let's do one more day. Let's do it. So we come back down the next day. We were staying about 2 hours from where we were fishing. So we drove back down, and, I mean, it was bad. We get down there. It's windy. It's cloudy.
Yeah.
And we get out on the water, and there was a couple other people with us, and they didn't leave the cabin of the boat. They were sick the entire time. And I made the mistake of sitting down in the cabin. Ooh. It's like the worst thing you can do when it's rough.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get seasick. And I sat there. I could feel myself getting like tired, dizzy. I was like, oh no. Like, this has never happened before, but like I know what's coming. And sure enough, I started throwing up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And I mean, the trip was 7 hours.
Oh, so you were just
you
were spraying off the side of the boat?
It's not that far from where you launch the boat to get out there. I mean, it's probably about 5 miles.
So that's how ours was. But luckily, we knew everybody on the boat.
Yeah, that's nice.
So unfortunately, though, we turned back around.
Yeah.
But if you don't know people, like
you can't do anything about it because you don't want to ruin those people's experiences.
No. Yeah. I took medicine and everything, like, because I already knew that I was motion sickness going into it. But I mean, I love fishing. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And obviously, on the East Coast, it's, in my opinion, better fish than it is down in Galveston and whatnot. So I was like, man, I want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I prepared. I took medicine. I took Dramamine.
Yeah.
I had
stuff makes you tired.
I had the oil. I was ready.
Yeah.
And it did not work in my favor. I want to try again though.
Yeah,
I do
no,
want to.
dude, it's worth it. I mean, we went out on that trip that 1 3/4 day, and so you leave at 10 a.m. in the morning. You go out, you fish all day, you sleep on the boat, wake up the next day, fish, go to sleep, and when you wake up the next day, you're back in the harbor at 5 a.m. And it was bad. So in the summers in California, we get bluefin, and they usually come in pretty thick. So the week before, they were going crazy. Like, boats were coming back with limits, and limits is 2 per person.
Okay.
And so we go out there, and it was bad. I mean, the whole boat, 1 3/4 day, caught 3 fish.
Oh,
It's a $500 boat ride.
that's that's why I'm scared to go deep sea again, is because I know how expensive it is.
Why don't you like go in Texas at all?
It's expensive. I mean,
I'm because like I want to go like black tuna, like go get out there fish for some black tuna, like past the oil and all.
Yeah, out at the rigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's the only reason I don't go against, because it's expensive.
But I think
Yeah.
depending on what you're catching, I feel like it pays for itself though. Like
Oh, totally.
like you get all that food and like
For sure it pays for itself, but I mean, if you can't even make it out there, then what's the point?
yeah, that's true.
There's a
Because
guy-
you're not gonna have fun. Like you're gonna be sitting in there and
Yeah,
be throwing
exactly.
up. Like you're not gonna be fishing.
Yeah.
And
There was a
it's-
guy on that boat that caught one of the 3 bluefin. It was 180 pounds, and I mean, bluefin's $35 a pound,
Yeah.
and the yield off that fish is probably about 60%. It's a lot of money. So I mean, it's worth it, but you also run that risk of just paying for a boat ride at that point. But yeah.
Have you just been deep sea on the West Coast, or you're going?
No, so I've been Alaska, California, Cabo, Costa Rica, and 2 years ago in January, my dad and I and one of our buddies from Fort Worth, we actually went down to Key West
Nice.
and fished down there for about 5 days. Caught a 116 pound swordfish.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
dope.
yeah.
That's dope.
What's been your favorite place to go to?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, Key West is crazy because it's so diverse. You can do everything. I mean, you can go literally a 10-minute boat ride and go catch 500-pound Goliath grouper, or you can go what we did and do 35 miles offshore in the Gulf Stream and drop down 1,700 feet to catch swordfish. I mean, you can do it. You can literally do anything.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Key West, but Costa Rica is really cool too. It's super diverse like that, where you can go and fish in estuaries, and you can catch whatever inshore species, or you can go half a mile off and it drops off and it's 4,000 feet. You can catch tuna, wahoo, whatever. But I would probably say Key West.
Key West. What's been your favorite fish you caught?
Probably swordfish.
Swordfish.
Yeah.
Did you get it stuffed?
No.
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 Did you let it go?
No, we brought it home.
You brought it home.
Yeah.
Ate it.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Swordfish is so
Really?
good. It's
Really?
one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
I've seen like swordfish steaks and stuff, but I was like, bro, that's just out of my tax bracket. I'm not gonna buy that.
It's
But-
crazy because you cook
Yeah.
it and it cooks up like a steak.
Yeah,
It's wild.
crazy.
It's super meaty. It's really, really good.
Freshwater. Where have you been?
I've fished freshwater in Costa Rica, Florida, California, Texas, Maine. I've been kind of all the corners. Oh, and Alaska too for salmon. So I've been in like all the corners of the
Maine
US.
seems fun.
Maine's a lot of fun.
Maine seems fun.
Maine's very fun. I mean, there's so much you can do. There's not a lot of people up there.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's empty.
Yeah,
and you got all the lighthouses and stuff.
It's a big state. I mean, you wouldn't think so looking at it on a map, but I mean, you can drive for 30 miles and not see anything besides forest.
Yeah, and big lakes.
Yeah, the lakes are beautiful too.
Yeah, I would love to go up to Maine and fish. The other thing you brought up was cars.
Yeah.
Just were you just into fast cars and like, oh, I like that and got into them, or is it like you drove one day and like this was fun?
Yeah. So when I was about 14, I picked up our family's camera and went to Cars and Coffee, and
Classic.
that kind of sparked it for
Yeah.
me. Our local event was Cars and Coffee Irvine, which, if I'm not mistaken, at the time was the largest Cars and Coffee in the world.
I definitely feel like y'all's is a lot different too than like Cars Coffee here, just because of the area.
Yeah.
like you probably saw everything or like at an early. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even realize the amount of money that's
yeah.
in Southern California. It's crazy. So started taking pictures of cars, started an Instagram,
Yeah.
started just posting raw photos,
Yeah.
no edits, nothing, and met some buddies through it. And they kind of taught me, editing stuff, Lightroom, Photoshop, whatnot. So I started doing that, editing photos, kind of grew my Instagram following pretty quickly. I went from nothing to 10,000 in like a year, which was pretty cool. I mean, I had so many cool opportunities. And probably when I was about 16, I met some good friends, still friends with them today. And we started associating ourselves with these couple guys at Cars and Coffee who, one of the guys had a 458, the other one had a Murcielago, and the other two guys it was a son and father, and they had a Viper.
Okay.
And so we would hang out with them on the weekends. Luckily, my parents were cool enough to let me hang out with these old dudes on the weekends. And they would take us to like breakfast and stuff. And I mean, those guys were a huge spark for me in like the car community.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was strong in it for basically up until I was probably about 21. And I just kind of got out of it.
Yeah.
No particular reason, just kind of fell out of it.
I understand.
But I mean, I met so many cool people and been in so many cool cars and driven lots of really cool cars, which I'm super lucky to have been able to do. But yeah.
I definitely think the older you get too, like, I mean, I know how the car community is, especially depending on what lane you're in. You got people that race.
Dude.
You got like the car show people. You got like the tuner people. You got people who make like budget cars. Like there's so much variety. And the car community can be like the nicest people you'll ever meet or like super, super, super toxic people. So I guess like since you got into cars and stuff like that, what did you drive in high school? Like, did you try to get a nice sports car or the car to bring for yourself, or like what were you driving?
So my first car that I actually just got rid of was a 2015 Kia Optima.
Okay.
Drove it till 130,000 miles from 30,000 miles. So put a lot of miles on it. And now I just got a Volkswagen Taos.
Okay.
It's a like subcompact SUV.
Yeah.
It's nice. I love it.
So you're not big into getting like a sports car.
No, I
That's
mean,
not your deal.
It was never a priority.
I gotcha.
And I would say just because I was surrounded with it.
Yeah.
So I never felt the need to go out of my way and get something nice.
Yeah.
Because I had lots of friends with really nice cars that I was able to be in all the time and experience. And never felt the need to dive into that.
That's crazy too, because I remember at that age, like all of us, we like were getting in the car scene, but we weren't around like super high end cars all the time. So like, I guess being at the age getting in a high end car, what was your first like thought process of getting in those cars? Like, because I mean, everybody sees these cars, or I mean, most people didn't even know what you named. Like you named a Ferrari, a Lambo, and what else did you say? A Dodge Viper. Yeah. Like you named all these different cars. So what was the experience like getting in those cars at that age? And just
it was crazy. I'll never forget it. My 16th birthday, I went to Cars and Coffee, and this guy Rick, who had the Murcielago, took me to breakfast in the Murcielago. And I mean, I was obviously in awe. And it was a gated manual Murcielago.
That's nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Took me out to breakfast, and like I'll never forget, like I had my phone out the entire time filming him. Like this is so crazy.
Yeah.
You don't really realize how special some of these cars are until you get to experience it. Like, you see like a Lambo on the street, you're like, oh, it's crazy, it's a cool car. But like once you're inside and you like hear the engine and the mechanics in it, I mean, it's crazy. It baffles you. One of the craziest cars that I've been lucky enough to experience was the Carrera GT.
Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, I forget his name, but one of my buddies was doing a photo shoot with him, and I tagged along with him, and he was asking people like, oh, do you want to ride? And my buddy was like, oh, no, like, I've already been in it. And he's like, you should go. I'm like, shit, like, all right, let's go. That car, like, the sounds inside, it's so mechanical because it's so bare bones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally an engine and a chassis.
Yep.
It's literally it. There's like, I mean, the firewall behind you is has to be so thin that you can just hear everything. I mean, I would probably just say, back to your question, just like the experience of being in that car and like experiencing it is probably the coolest thing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, honestly. Like, I remember the first time I rode in a fast car, my dad's friend Danny had a GTR. I think in 2012 or 2013 gen.
Very first car.
Yeah,
Very fast. Well, that's the only fast car. I mean, I guess yours is fast, but like exotic fast car.
yeah, and it's like, it was, you know, he launch control, first time experiencing launch control, and first time being in a car with 500 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive too. I've never really ridden in all-wheel drive cars, and they're so crazy. And my friend Philip, he has an Audi RS5 all-wheel drive, and then our homie Zach has a Model 3. They're all-wheel drive, so people don't even like know what that feels like, because like I have a Mustang, it's fast, but I'm not getting power to all those wheels, so it's not instant. Like these other cars, you just at a red light and you're like, bye, and it's like you're in a roller coaster. Like you're immediately like thrown back in the seat and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know, the adrenaline. See, and I got some other comments about like people with nice cars, but I'm
So
away.
I on this road, where we at? On this road right here, going like up and down the main road, I got to ride in a GTR there. So at the light where y'all came in at, the four-way, there's like the shopping center on the left, the apartments on the right. So at that light, he turned around, and then he went up the road towards like past Topgolf, which is right here, to the other light, and from right here to Topgolf, he hit like 160 something like that. And I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. And he came back and hit like 183. I was like, this is crazy. It's a different feeling.
It is. So GTR was the first fast car that I ever drove. And a buddy of mine who at a young age got into selling exotic cars. I mean, I don't know if it was the greatest financial decision, but he decided to go out and buy one. At 19 years old.
What did he buy?
It was a...
I'm trying to think what you could get in that range at the time.
It had to have been... It was probably 2013, 2014.
Had to be a Porsche, right?
GTR? No, it was a
GTR?
GTR, yeah.
That was probably like 80 or 90 back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's making good commission selling exotics.
Yeah.
You know, it adds up quickly. So he bought that, had it for a couple of years, sold it, bought a C63.
Nice.
He's had a bunch of stuff, but that was the first car that I ever drove that was fast. And I'll never forget, we got to my buddy's house, and he's like, hey, here's the keys. I'm like, no way. I'm like, you're giving me these keys? I'm like 17 years old. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. At that age, like, yeah.
Yeah. But that was one of my first buddies I ever met at Cars and Coffee. And, I mean, he actually just opened up his first dealership.
Okay.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, he's actually having the grand opening tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's been selling cars for a while.
And it's just exotics?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Obi-Zoo.
Obi-Zoo.
Yeah.
I'm about to look right now.
Were you nervous when he gave you the keys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you like even like test the power, or are you just like I don't want to?
No. So I'm like driving through the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh man, I don't even know if I should push it. Like, this is crazy. And the first thought that went through my mind was, I don't know if my parents' insurance can cover if I crash this. So it was cool though. We drove it down PCH in Newport. It felt like $1 million. Oh
yeah.
I'm like, man, this is crazy. At sunset, driving GTR down PCH.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Was that your first fast car driving?
Yeah. Yeah, it was my first fast car I've ever driven.
So you just hopped in and drove.
Yeah.
Well, you did well or what? I mean,
I would
obviously
say
you're
so.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, let me drive your car. I'm like, getting in a fast car, and if you don't drive fast cars all the time, like,
different.
and you just gotta be careful. Like, people just
can't handle it.
And people just think like, oh, I'm just gonna floor it, and like not knowing what kind of car they're driving, where the power is coming from, like if that car is meant for that or whatever, and they just
tires.
All
you also got to deal with other people on the road too.
That too.
Because people on the road see a cool or fast car,
they're gonna try
they try to catch up next to you. They try to get up.
Bro, it's
to you.
ridiculous, dude.
It's a liability.
Last year when I first bought my Mustang and I was driving it around, I had so many people try to race me. It's actually not that prevalent now. Yeah, it's not very prevalent, like people that try to race me now. I mean, before, like, it was bad, bro. Like, every time and my car is like stock, and I'd race people, every now and then, but
You have to,
right? But then they roll down their window, be like, "Dang, your car is fast," or "It's nice," and they're like, "What have you have done to it?" And I'm like, "It's stock, and it's still stock. Like, I need to stop bullshitting." But, I don't know. Just like I feel like everyone always tries to race you. So like getting a fast car is nice, but then you got to do it. Everyone trying to race you, and then like it's kind of nice because like people are like, "Nice car, man," whatever. But then like I also feel like my Mustang, like I don't do nothing crazy, but I see people do crazy stuff in these cars, like Mustangs, specifically Mustangs and Hellcats, or like Scat Packs, like people swinging them, doing all that stuff, which is fine. But then like I feel like you get labeled in that.
Yeah, Mustangs
you know, like
have a bad rap in general.
yeah, a crowd killer. not now, but I don't know. I just feel like people just really like they see like you in a fast car, and like you'll see a fast car drive downtown, and you hear everybody be like, "Oh, like you're you know what, so huge," or like, "Oh my god, that dude has like low self-esteem." Like just because he has a fast or nice car,
yeah,
I don't know. They don't understand, but yeah,
I like it when they get in it though.
No, yeah, they're like Uber. They're like Uber me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, can you drive?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, like nah, I can't actually. But
they feel cool hopping out of it.
Exactly.
So I guess so getting into cars and photography, what was kind of that final shift that made you want to switch and kind of get out of it? Or what was like starting to draw your interest outside of that?
So the car community in Southern California, it's obviously super diverse, and it honestly just took a very bad turn. Obviously, I don't know if here they have them, but sideshows where people take over intersections.
I hate that stuff, bro.
Yeah. So that started big time in Southern California.
It's real bad in like Houston.
Yeah, I bet. And, you know, the car community just got such a bad rap. And with photography, everyone that was 18 to 25 was picking up a camera.
Yeah, that's true.
You couldn't go to a car meet without 200 people having cameras trying to take pictures. And you don't want to be that guy that's posting stuff on Instagram that everyone else has posted a picture of. So competition was one. I mean, you know, obviously you got to find what you're doing and try to be different, but I mean, it's just hard. Everyone's just doing basic edits, and, you know, on photos, every photo looks the same. Mm-hmm. You're not going to draw attention to yourself posting the same thing as everybody else. So that kind of turned me off about it. And also, I mean, just the community. Like, you would go to a meet, it'd be the same cars. Same people would show up. There'd never be anything new. It was like, I feel like I'm just wasting my time at this point.
Yeah.
You know, especially with trying to do photography.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I'm not going to take a picture of the same car 10 times.
Yeah.
So I would say that was probably it.
Did you do videography too or no?
No. Just photography.
Did you watch any like YouTube channels or anything? Like did you get into that as well?
Yeah.
He watches like the dude in blue and
that dude in
Virgin.
blue Vehicle Virgins,
Mm-hmm.
Adam LZ. Damn, who's the other guy? TJ Hunt.
Yeah. TJ's cool.
TJ Hunt. So those are like the main ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I met Parker, Vehicle Virgins, a couple times. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's definitely interesting. Like I feel like he
Very.
definitely fell off a cliff and then came back. He's definitely comes from a lot of money.
He had lots of controversy, and he kind of fell off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met Tanner Fox a couple times. He's a cool guy. I've never met TJ though. I mean, I've heard lots of great things about him.
Yeah.
But I've hung out with Alex Choi a couple times.
Yeah.
Went on a couple drives with him. He's a really cool guy.
And then that Manny, what's his name?
Manny Koshman.
Yeah, the super rich dude.
Dude's corny.
He is.
So
He's
corny.
like, I ordered my Bugatti with the Alcantara. Like he'll like go in depth. That was, remember when I showed you that video of like all his cars and that like he drove
in
Miami
or something
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
And he had like a Bugatti, like one of one, like
Yeah, with Hermes.
Yeah, it's Hermes. Yeah.
He also has a Pagani Huayra that's fully done by Hermes.
Hermes. Yeah. Crazy. For what?
So corny.
Yeah, for what? I don't know.
Like,
but
no one cares about it besides you.
yeah, like you got a designer.
And even when you go to
car.
sell it, no one's going to want to buy it because it's so custom.
Yeah, that's true.
He does have crazy cars though.
Yeah, he's a crazy garage. I mean, he owns
Jay Leno.
like all of the real estate in Southern California.
That makes sense because I was
It's
wondering,
crazy.
like, I was like, bro, what does he do? I was like, this dude is like stupid rich.
Like you pull up on a vacant lot or a building up for lease, and it's like the Kajman Company. I mean, he owns everything. It's crazy. Dude has an empire in Southern California.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because when he showed me his garage, that was crazy.
It's wild.
I mean, still, like, sure, it's like he has his designer stuff, but you still gotta have money to do that.
It's super random, but he's super into collecting Mercedes SLRs.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. He had like 5 or 7.
I think he has like 7 of them.
Yeah.
Which is smart because that car's gonna skyrocket in value.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the craziest cars I've been in, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. So my buddy that's actually opening up that dealership, his old boss had one, and he let him have it for the day, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that car is scary. Rear-wheel drive, it's like, I mean, I think it does like 215 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's super torquey.
Yeah. All Mercedes they have those beefy motors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that car is really cool.
Yeah.
And I respect him for collecting it because no one else does. But yeah.
Go ahead. I was about to say something. Oh, yeah.
The reason I asked you about like the YouTube stuff, because we love watching it, but it's old. There's an old I guess they don't do it no more.
I was about to talk about this. The H2O?
Yeah, H2O.
Their
videos?
Ocean.
Yeah.
Ocean City?
In Maryland?
Yeah.
Delaware area?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to, basically, so, because for me, like, going to local car meets got, like, I mean, let's be honest, lame, corny, like, especially when I came back from college and stuff. I drove a 3 Series all throughout college. Rest in peace, my baby just got stolen. But I drove a 3 Series all throughout high school and college. Nothing crazy. I just had a JB4 tune, and that was about it. But nothing. Fun. Yeah, exactly. Nothing crazy. And then I would go to these events, right, and like see people doing the same stuff, same cars, kind of thing. You never wanted to, or I guess I felt like for me, the only way to go to car events would be to go to like those cool exclusive shows like that. So would you ever go back and pick up a camera for stuff like that? Because it is different. Like you're gonna have people traveling like we would be all over the world to go. So
and I feel like it's so many different kind of cars too.
It's so diverse. I mean, like H2O. I mean, that's fully like you are deep in tuner. Trap, like people just building the trashiest cars possible. I mean, that's not a huge scene in Southern California, but you know, there's part of me that wants to pick back up a camera and get back into it, but that probably wouldn't be until I head out here, just because the car community, honestly, it's pretty dead in Southern California. Like, probably 2015 to 2020 was like the glory days. Like, I mean, you know, that's when like the LaFerrari, the P1, the 918 all came out.
That is true.
People drove their Veyrons. Like, people just didn't care back then. Like, people would go out and drive all the time. Now it's so different, you know. It's, to me, I just feel like it's not worth my time to pick back up a camera. But you know, I have buddies who are still super deep in the car, like automotive photography. Buddy I go to school with, he's done contracts with Ferrari, where they hire him to come out to a track day with their clients who have, you know, FXXKs and 458 GT3s.
Yeah, that's
to
crazy.
come out and shoot their events. He's got like 30,000 followers on Instagram just from photography. I mean, he's super, super talented. So, you know, there's still your core guys in photography that have their presence, and, you know, they kind of run the show with photo shoots and whatnot. But, you know, the scene of taking pictures at car meets has kind of died. So I feel like I kind of would have had to stick with it.
Yeah.
To, you know, stay involved.
I feel like too, it's one of those things like, cause I mean, I love car stuff. I've made a few car videos, and it's just, I think it's just more like a hobby. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like, I don't want to, for me at least, it's hard for me to like, obviously it doesn't seem like work, but I feel like when it does become like that, where it's like work and you're starting to not appreciate the cars you're just looking at, or like what it looks like, or maybe you don't want to take a picture of the way this car is done because maybe it's not appealing to like your audience you've developed, because maybe you're just posting exotics and that's all people want to see is exotics or JDM or whatever lane you're in, and then I feel like you're like, oh damn, I took this picture of this truck with this nice paint job and it's not matching my I know you gotta like
exactly.
That becomes
like
a thought process.
When you're a photographer in the car scene, like you have to stick to one thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're consistently posting exotics and you switch it up and throw in something, you know, like a Raptor or a TRX or
Yeah.
something
That are
JDM.
just as much, and people don't even realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people follow you for a reason, and you're not going to get as much engagement if you post something like, something like I just named. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's definitely a hobby for sure.
I have 2 questions for you. 1, what is your favorite type of car? And 2, what is your dream car?
That's a good question.
If you have one, since you've been around all these cars.
So with type, are you talking about like a manufacturer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are your if you could give me 3 car brands, like what,
Type as in like JDMs or
that too.
stuff like
Okay.
that.
So my top manufacturer is Porsche.
Nice, good job.
Just like us.
My dream car, Lexus LFA.
Really?
It's my
See,
all-time dream car.
I haven't heard that much, but
Yeah.
I do hear it every now and then, and it does sound crazy. But
yeah, I mean, they're reaching close to $1.2 million now.
Yeah.
In 2012 when they came out, I mean, they didn't even sell out.
Yeah.
They had to stop production because they weren't selling.
I think it was 400 when it came out, right?
Yeah,
I'm
it was like 350.
Yeah, it was
400.
like right around 400. Yeah.
I mean, if you kept that car today, I mean, it's good money.
Yeah.
But I would say like my attainable dream car probably be E92 M3.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, I want one. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I just want one. I just want an M3.
Yeah.
The E92, our homie David has one. If you put a titanium exhaust on that, that was like the first conversation we had.
Yeah.
We were talking
Yeah,
about
we
that.
talked about
yeah,
that,
yeah. If you put a titanium exhaust on that car, that V8 it sounds amazing.
It's hard to find a better sounding.
Yeah,
V8.
that German V8.
Yeah. Between that and like the Mercedes 6.2,
Yeah, both of those.
2 of the best sounding
Yeah.
V8s.
Both of
Easily.
those. That's definitely attainable. The only problem with those cars is the damn. I think it's like crank
rod bearings?
Rod bearings in
Rod
that, and the
bearings,
crankshafts in the M4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a big service you have to do on them.
Off rip. You got to do it.
Yeah,
As- I
like-
feel like if you buy it, because they're all used, like you have to get that replaced
Yeah.
immediately.
If they haven't been already.
Yeah.
But I mean, even M3 prices have skyrocketed. I mean, you can't find a clean E92 for less than 40. Whereas,
Oh, yeah, for
Whereas
sure.
3 years ago, you could have bought one for 19 grand.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So Porsche is your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Our,
GT3 is the best car I've ever driven.
our dream car is a GT3 RS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove a 2015 GT3 in sapphire blue, fully straight pipe. I got to rip it in the canyons. In canyons in Malibu at like 2 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's
They just. He sent me the video, but also saw another video. They just the new 2023 GT3R.
it's so clean.
Oh my god,
It
it's
looks
nice.
so
That
good.
price ain't clean, though.
Price is not clean.
Yeah.
I was like, 500K? I was like, I'm just going to buy Olin and then buy a Paragon. I'm going to spend that money. Get a boat and a car.
I mean, before COVID, you could have bought a used GT3 for like 110.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even find them for under 180.
No. Every time I look, it's like they're in the 220s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, those are. I mean, he did put me on, but I mean, the car just looks beautiful, sounds
Yeah.
beautiful. Then, well, I guess now it's a little bit different, but the GT 2
Yeah, GT2 is cool.
faster, but it's also was way more.
It's more of
expensive
a,
as well.
that's more like a race car.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're both race cars, but this is like more like strictly for the racetrack.
Do you think
Yeah.
Porsche's the best German?
I mean, it's got to be the top manufacturer.
Yeah. It's just hard to,
No one does it better.
yeah, them or Audi, low key.
Yeah, I mean, Audi's kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
I feel like the glory days of the R8 and like the RS cars was probably up until like 2015 when they were all still NA. Like the RS5.
Yeah.
The RS5 with the NA V8 was one of my favorite cars.
Yeah.
It sounds so good. You know, obviously they're not the fastest, but they drive well. But I just love the old body style of the R8. The new one it's a Huracan.
That's interesting because, like, go ahead.
No, you're good.
That's interesting because, like, Audi, Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, like, they all have, like, a high-end, like, exotic car damn near. Like, the Mercedes one's coming out, and then Audi obviously has had, like, the R8s and stuff, and then they make Lambo motors, and then what else? Porsche obviously has like the GT2, GT3,
918.
918 Spider, but like BMW doesn't have a car like that.
No.
And it's like I've always wondered why. Like, I mean, people are like, oh, the i8, but that car's slower than M3, M4.
Yeah.
So it's
that
like
car's
it
not-
looks cool, but
it's nothing but flashy.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, it's a hybrid 3-cylinder.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like they haven't made that car like a high end BMW, because for me at least, I'm like biased because I grew up around BMWs and driving BMWs, and I think for like the practicality and bang for your buck, that's the best German car, because like Porsches are kind of like, I mean, most people aren't gonna drive that at some point, but I guess like since you seem like you're a big German car guy. Are you?
I would say so.
Yeah. Are you? Do you like any American brands, or are you gotten a JDM?
I was gonna ask you how you thought about American cars.
I love the Dodge Viper.
That car is so
crazy.
dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yeah,
dangerous.
No, totally. I had the chance to ride in one. I mean, it's crazy because where you're sitting, the exhaust is right next to you.
Yeah.
And you feel your seat rumble the entire time. And you're sitting in that car, and the car is shaking because the engine is so big. I mean, it's an 8.4 liter V10. I mean,
Yeah.
There's never gonna be another engine like that ever. So I would say Viper. And I mean, you know, this is obviously kind of crazy, but the Hennessy Venom.
Of course. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, come on.
That was like the world's fastest car at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, like
it was
246, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's from Houston or Dallas.
Hennessy.
Hennessy's in Houston, I think.
I mean, that car was literally a Lotus stretched out with a twin turbo V8 in it.
It was crazy.
I mean, American cars are coming a long way though now, because you can take like, I mean, the GT350 and then like
that's another one.
Yeah, that
I love that car.
and Z06,
Z06 is
like
sweet.
C60 or not C63. What is it? C8 Z06 probably. Yeah, like you can take those cars and get on the track and perform just as well.
Yeah, the new C8 Z06. I mean, I think if you're in the market for a supercar, that's the best bang for your buck you'll find. I mean, it sounds like a Ferrari. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but thing sounds exotic.
I see everybody around the domain driving them like at their like 30 miles per hour. Like,
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
not doing what it's intended for.
yeah. Do you like have you seen the GT500, the Code Red?
No.
Yeah, so basically Ford is, if you have a GT500, because it's hard to get, you can send it to Shelby, and then they'll send it, and they're gonna make it go from, because the GT500 has 760 stock, they're gonna make it go to 1300.
Yeah, because 760 isn't enough.
Right.
But it's like a special thing, and I think it's like $100,000 program. Like you have to pay.
Which is crazy because 99.9% of owners that decide to do that will never use that power.
Exactly.
No.
And they'll never use the 760 horsepower in general.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if they do, they won't be able to
pointless.
control it.
No, it's pointless.
That's why I said 4 to 5. Like that's why I love my car.
500's like
That's like the perfect. Like
Yeah, no, it's like the perfect
that's all you
number.
need.
Like the GT3, I think, is like 460. It's perfect amount of power.
and I don't think people realize like how much that is.
Yeah,
Especially
no one does.
that car is light too.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah, do you see the new?
The new Mustang?
The Dark
Yeah,
Horse.
yeah, the Dark Horse. I know. I might have to. I have
The
to.
Dark Horse is the only one out ever.
Might have to trade.
The base looks.
It looks
Base does
beautiful.
not
And it's a
look
manual too, and I can just be sitting there just shifting and just like down.
It's not that I don't like Mustangs, but like I've just never been like a big fan of Mustangs.
Yeah.
But that Mustang is
The same with me. I mean, it's not.
That's how I was until I got mine. Like the technology, Ford is just the best. Like American wise, like, but nobody can do it like them.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like once they got to my body style, I was like, okay, they're nice, and they went up in price too, because then you didn't see all the kids getting them.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they can't afford like those ones now because
Yeah.
they just shot up in price.
Yeah, last night I saw the Dark Horse and I sent it to my buddy. I'm like, dude, this looks so good.
it looks nice.
And then he's like, have you seen the normal version? I'm like, no. Sends me a picture. I'm like, damn, that looks bad. I don't like it. I mean, I just feel like it's too soft. The base version, it's
It looks like my car is just up like futuristic.
yeah. I don't like how the rear end of it like slopes down. The taillights. I mean, just off pictures, they look really small.
Yeah.
But-
It looks like a Camaro, low key.
Yeah, it
In the
does.
back.
How do you feel about the new BMWs?
Like
The body style.
new M cars, or just in general.
In general.
I mean, I don't mind it. I think the front end has grown on me.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
It's
It
still-
has.
it still
It
hasn't
looks.
grown on
It
me.
looks better in
It's grown on
person.
me a lot.
It looks a lot better in
'Cause,
person.
I mean, I've said this about every new car that's come out. You know, you see the pictures and the media goes crazy about it. Like, oh, this looks nothing like it should. Like, for example, when Ferrari switched from the 458 to the F8 Tributo, I was like, this looks terrible. And since I've seen them, I'm like, you know, it actually looks pretty good. It looks really good.
Yeah, and the inside looks crazy.
But back to BMWs, I mean, I would say it's definitely grown on me, but I still prefer the F80 body style. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the best looking version. I mean, I don't see how they're ever going to go back or, you know, cater to what people want. But at the same time, I feel like BMW drivers don't really care. I think they're still going to buy those cars.
Yeah, for
I feel
sure.
like people who own BMWs are super loyal to the brand.
Oh, yeah.
Do you watch F1?
Never got into it.
No.
Have
you seen like the TV show or anything? On Netflix?
Yeah, I've seen the show on Netflix, but it's just not something that I've ever gotten into. But yeah,
I appreciate it.
It's crazy.
It's my favorite sport now, but just because, for one, the cars are insane, and then for two, the people that are driving them,
you have to
they're
be so
insane.
skilled.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
They're insane, and I don't think people you see them driving a fast car, but don't understand like how hard that actually is.
No, I mean, it's crazy. Like, they go through probably the same training that most athletes do, you know, especially endurance. You know, you're in a seat for however long. Especially
2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, longer technically, but the race is 2 hours.
Yeah. Plus, like, endurance racing is crazy.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
24 Le Mans. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I would love to go to one of those.
Yeah, it'd be so much fun going to Le Mans. What's the other one? Sebring. Trying to think of the other ones. Spa. Yeah.
Laguna Seca.
Yeah. Laguna Seca is really cool.
I need to go there.
Yeah.
Porsche's about in 2026. Porsche will be in F1 again.
No way.
Yeah, they're joining.
That's crazy.
That might make you watch, low-key.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm a McLaren fan right now, but switch over to Porsche probably when they go in.
How do you feel about electric cars, especially being from California? Because it's like super forced there. Like when I was there last month, I was like, dude,
everywhere.
I thought it was bad here.
No.
There, oh my god, dude.
Everybody
has Tesla there.
Everybody. It's crazy. So obviously Tesla doesn't have any dealerships.
Yeah.
They just have, showrooms or whatever. And at the local mall by my house, Tesla is renting parking garage space for all their inventory.
That's crazy.
There's like 3 levels of this parking garage. The entire thing is all Teslas, all the way up. It's all stock. I mean, you can't drive 30 seconds on the road without seeing a Tesla. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and obviously that's where the world is kind of trending towards, especially California. I don't know if you guys saw, but
yeah.
Like it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, the governor signed a bill that by 2035, all cars being sold new have to be electric.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's where the world is trending towards, but at the same time, I feel like that's where people are going to go to because that's what everyone's going to be driving,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel the need to get a Tesla or something like that, but obviously at some point, probably going to have to.
Yeah.
But, I have buddies with Teslas and, they're cool. There's nothing special about them.
Yeah,
they're really not that great.
That's
like,
how
the build quality is terrible.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Like people get cars. The panel gaps are terrible. The paint is terrible. The interior is terrible. I mean, I don't know. Tesla, obviously, they're just trying to pump out cars as fast as possible. But yeah,
people just love Elon. I guess I don't know. That's the best way to put it.
No, it's a great way to put it.
That's the best way I could put it.
Elon.
Yeah, if he makes a jet ski, I'll probably buy that. Like an electric jet ski, that'd be clutch. Like charge it up one time. Yeah, that's nice.
Never have to stop at the gas station.
like stuff like that. I don't know. For the car enthusiast though, like you're not gonna wanna.
You want to hear your car. You want to feel your car.
Exactly.
People don't understand like until they drive a fast car. They're like, oh, okay, like I see why you don't like an electric car because I mean, you don't even hear it. It's like. And then, like, when they back in, like, my homie Zach will be backing in. It sounds like damn near computer screen. It's like, it's funny. But they're cool. Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking off of Teslas, I know that other car manufacturers are making, like, other electric cars. I actually had the chance to drive the BMW i4M.
Oh, no way.
At i4M50 or whatever it's called at COTA. And obviously, to me, I was impressed. It still felt like a BMW. It was just electric. So, like you said, there's going to be people that are going to be loyal to their car brands. I mean, even I might consider getting the Ford Lightning if the towing, if the towing is up there, then I might consider getting that when it's time for me to buy a truck.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the time that happens, the technology will be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting to see because like obviously Teslas are still like the front runner for electric cars, but I don't know like how it's going to be once like Ford, I mean obviously Dodge, Volkswagen, all these BMW, all these high end car companies that have been making cars like start doing that. Like I wonder what it's going to do to Tesla. I'm always been curious about that.
Yeah, my neighbor just got the Mach-E.
Okay.
The Ford.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's just another electric car.
Yeah.
That's the thing about electric cars. There's nothing that separates them from each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have a battery,
Yeah.
a steering wheel,
Yeah.
a pedal, a brake pedal, and that's it.
They just look obviously look different, but
Yeah.
the Hummer's cool too.
Yeah, the Hummer's really
Yeah, that one's cool.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like crab walk.
Yeah, crab walk.
That's that one.
It
Yeah,
goes like
that's
sideways.
that one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope you get back into photography. It's fun.
It is
It's definitely a fun thing to do.
It is fun.
It lets you be free, have an imagination of what you want to take a
Yeah.
picture of and do. Even if it's cars or just in general, fishing. I don't know if you like vlog your fishing trips or whatnot, but I hope you get back into it. It's fun being creative.
Oh,
And it
it
takes your
definitely
mind
is
off for
fun.
like other things too.
100%. Yeah, you sit down at the computer, edit some photos for a while. I mean, takes away some time, it keeps you interested. It's fun. I mean, there's definitely days when I miss it, for sure. Like when my close buddy that I go to school with, he'll be sitting next to me in class editing photos, and I'm like, damn it, I miss that. But
It's nice.
it's just, I feel like where I'm at right now, especially in Southern California, it's just tough to get back into.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much competition, and at the end of the day, it comes down to passion when you want to do it. But at the same time, it's tough seeing buddies who, like that's what they do, like that's their living. And I don't know. I just don't see myself getting back into car meets and like going there and taking photos, because at the end of the day, those aren't going to be quality photos. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But that's pretty much it for me. You got anything else?
Yeah. How did you meet John and like John B?
So
How'd that happen?
yeah, so probably about 4 or 5 years ago, John had posted a video about his next Never Stop tour that he was doing, and he had posted a map of where they were going to go and one more location that he wanted to go, and that location was Cabo, and he wanted to catch a rooster fish. That was a fish that was on his bucket list. And
Nice fish.
yeah, really cool fish. And I had known a guy in Cabo that my dad and I have fished with. His name is Wes. He goes by Cabo Surfcaster on Instagram. He's picked up the camera and he makes crazy cinematic videos of these fish and the waves and everything. So I linked him and John up, and through Instagram DM, I reached out to John. I was like, hey man, like you should fish with this guy. Like I know you want to catch this fish. And so we kind of talked about that. He ended up doing it with him, and he was doing like fan meetups at every stop that they were doing. And the one stop that was close to me was San Diego. So I drove down there, met him, and we just went out to go grab dinner after. So that was really cool. Got dinner. The next day, he flew down there, and it was I think that was during the spring that he did that. And that summer, he was up in Maine, and he was posting about Maine and everything, and, up at the cabin. And so, I just sent him a DM like, man, like, it's so beautiful up there. Like, it's crazy. Like, great place you got. And he's like, you should just come up. I'm like, shit, all right. So August that year, I flew up there and we fished probably for a week or so. Became good friends, and we fish all the time whenever I'm in town here. Or last summer I was up in Maine for 2.5 weeks. I was supposed to be up there for a week. We drove up north to go muskie fishing, and we were sitting in this cabin, and Cole, Zach, Ryan, and John, we were all sitting up there in the cabin, and I was like, I don't want to leave. I had to leave 2 days later, and we're sitting there having some drinks, and they're like, just cancel your flight. I'm sitting there in the hot seat, and I was still working at the time, and I was like, damn, I need someone to cover my shifts. So I started like sending off texts like, hey, who can cover my shifts this week? Someone was nice enough to cover my shift, and I ended up staying out there for another week and a half.
Is that at White Claw Cabin?
Yeah. The place it's special. I mean, it's a blast. I mean, I've had so many cool experiences with him. Caught my personal best bass like 2 springs ago. We were fishing Lake Benbrook. We fished down by Waco. We fished up the Oklahoma border. Fished a bunch in Texas. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, he goes. That's my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
He goes a lot of places.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, he's such a great person, such a great friend. I mean, I've been super lucky to get to know him, and you know, when it's funny when we were up in Maine, he tying back to cars kind of. We were sitting there one night, and he actually was on Instagram and saw that my buddy was selling a car, the 2012 C63 Black Series, and he ended up buying it.
It's in his garage.
Yeah.
It's in the video sometimes.
So my buddy, the one that's actually opening up that dealership, was selling it. He was the one that was selling it. And so we bought it, had me drive it from California out to Texas.
That's cool.
Like
That's cool.
3 days after I got back. So my yeah, literally. So my dad and I hopped in the car and we drove 23 hours straight. Longest we stopped was 30 minutes for breakfast. We drove it, I think it was 1,600 miles.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And it's crazy. That car, you know.
Were you driving it fast or how?
No.
Nah, yeah, you were just chilling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't probably. It's someone else's car.
No, especially, I mean, a car like that, the car had 30,000 miles on it, 10 years old, you know. And that car specifically, in that paint, it's one of 4 in North America.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the color is Magno Allanite Gray. It's kind of like a satin gray. Crazy paint, especially from factory. But yeah.
Did you find him through like YouTube fishing?
Yeah, dude. I was watching John for years.
So I knew of him when he was in Illinois. Yeah. Because the owner of Optic Gaming, Hex, is friends with, because he's a big fisherman, so he's friends with all of them. And then he would always talk about the Guggen Squad. Yeah. So I just eventually like looked into them, and then I just gravitated to John more. I don't know. I just liked his videos and him more. So I've just been watching him since. Yeah. So I guess I found him through gaming.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's a crazy connection.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cool. That was it for me. I just realized that.
But you have anything for us?
All good. I appreciate it.
Of
this
course,
is awesome.
of course. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, they can taking the time out your day. I know you're here visiting your girlfriend, so want to spend as much time as you can with her. So appreciate that. Thank you. Anything else for you?
No, that's it. It was cool talking about cars. Talk cars all day, especially someone that understands what I'm saying.
I can talk about it all
most
day.
people are like, "What?"
Yeah,
you know, so
totally.
It's
most
nice to have the
half
energy.
the cars you named.
It's nice. So
yeah, it was fun.
And the same with you, probably fishing. Like most people, I mean, I didn't know what half those fishes were.
I knew. Like,
so I was looking them up. Just sort of like a visual. I need to see.
I knew a lot of the things you were saying. I mean, fish are just like cars. There's so many different types of exotic fish, and
very similar hobbies.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. One just seems boring, but when you get on that, when you get that thing on the hook, it ain't boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially deep sea.
Yeah,
sheesh.
Exactly.
How long do you? I meant to. How long do you fight that swordfish?
So the thing is, we were out 1,700 feet deep, 35 miles offshore in 6 to 8 foot swell, and it was windy. It was bad. So I would have loved to hand crank it, but we were using electric reels because when sword fishing, I mean, you're dropping your bait with a 5-pound lead down 1,700 feet, and you got to check it every 20 minutes or so, and you don't want to crank up 1,700 feet with 5 pounds of dead weight constantly. So down there in South Florida, they use electric reels for a lot of stuff. So that's what we used. To come up, it was probably like 15 minutes.
I feel like does that kind of take the fun out of it? Because I feel like that's part of the experience too, though.
In a sense, I would say it didn't really take away the fun of it, just because catching a swordfish is so crazy in general. Like, it's a fish that like people never see because it's lives 2,000 feet deep. But I would say a little bit. But I would have loved to like crank it up myself. But given the circumstances, it's what we had to do.
It happens. It happens. Well, that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.